Hey there, it's Jason Stein, host of Cars and Culture with Jason Stein on SiriusXM, as well as on this YouTube channel. We interview everybody, actors, athletes, musicians, business leaders. We talk to the people who lust for the vehicle and the people who make them. So like and subscribe. Let us know what you think right here on Cars and Culture.
Hi, I'm Aurélien Rouffiange, and this is Cars and Cultures with Jason Stein.
Iconic, symbolic, the stuff of every child's dreams, young and old. And he's right at the heart of it. It is a pleasure to have you on the program from Denmark. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks, Jason. How are you?
Wonderful, wonderful. We've had many different people on this program, some of whom contribute greatly to culture and cars. I could argue that LEGO is about at the epicenter, at the heart of cars and culture. Would you agree?
I can only agree to that. That's true. Yeah, we have actually a broad variety of cars in the LEGO portfolio, and every year we bring a lot of new and novelty cars to our assortment. I'm a designer in the LEGO Technic franchise at LEGO here in Denmark. So we have a very specific assortment. It's not the classic bricks that you will recognize, but it's the more advanced and technical system. And we're using all kind of elements like gears and suspension and functions that can bring this function to life to the model, into the model. We have then a lot of vehicles, from cars to machines, but definitely a lot of cars around us here in LEGO.
And you're a car guy, right? I mean, you've always loved cars. Have you always been a LEGO guy?
Like cars. Yes, I've been kind of it's my favorite toy for sure. When I was a kid, it was the toy I always loved and dreamed for Christmas and getting as a gift for sure. So being back here and being here now, like designing these toys for the new generation is just a dream come true. And I also do love transportations and vehicles and futuristic cars and all of that. So to be able to recreate what's coming next in the toy format, it's just wonderful every day.
Your primary role is researching and developing a new lineup for each new year. And those are some very authentic representations of real vehicles, Ferrari, Bugatti. We're going to talk about some of them. But I just want to make sure that the audience understands completely. When you're a kid and you play with Legos, and then when you're an adult and you create Legos, it has to be a dream scenario for you.
It is. It's nice when you create your first model. When I started here at LEGO 12 years ago, and I got the task to create a small buggy for the LEGO assortment, and I just remember myself when I unpacked my first LEGO, and I was just having that joy moment when you just start to build and you play with the toy yourself, and then now myself creating these experiences, this play experience for the new generation is just amazing, and I just put all I can to make this the best experience for the new kids and also adults, I'm pretty sure.
Yes, I'm sure adults. So, and they're incredibly hard to get. Let's talk about the formation of the group. In 1977, LEGO Group introduced LEGO Technic. And it was really with the idea of models that would be inspired by vehicles from the real world, realistic working features. That's your mission, isn't it?
That's correct. Yes, we have our DNA in LEGO Technic is actually we call it AFC. We make sure that something is A for authentic, F for functions, and C for the challenge of building. So whatever we recreate, it's a representation of what exists outside in the world. And to some extent, sometimes we will manage to create something that is being developed by some car industry as well. So it doesn't exist yet, but we work together closely and develop something at the same time. But most of the vehicles or the machines, it could be flying on wheels or on water. Whatever we do is something you can decode easily, understand what it is, and we make sure that we pack it with a lot of functions. So it's also bringing that level of technology inside, and then also for you to learn how things works in the real world. It's our main mission also to teach the kids and to teach anyone who's going to build that model how it's actually behaving, and you learn an engine will work, like piston engine will move into the car when you push the Lego models on the table. The wheel will start to spin, and then it will drive the shaft, and then it will start all the functions in the model. So the engine, or it could be also suspensions, it could be actuators on the crane in some machineries, or even when you go to the more complex model, it will be having a sophisticated gearbox that has actually a paddle shifter behind the steering wheel that you can actually shift gears, and it will actually shift the speed of the piston engine in the car that you will play with, and it's as close as it gets to the reality.
Are you a technician or are you a designer, or are you both?
I think it's both, right?
Yeah.
It's a mix. Yes. Yeah. I'm a educated designer, but in engineering design. So you learn a little bit of that as well, but not much. But I think after being here 12 years now, I think I learned a lot more than when I started in mechanics and cars, and so that's quite amazing as well.
You could probably be a car designer or engineer if asked to do so on full-size models.
Yeah, sure. I think it could be, but I like to stick to the toy and to kids' worlds and making this dream and play.
How difficult does it get? I mean, you're exposed to the intricacies of vehicles that have gone through years of development and various iterations and all kinds of stress tests and product approvals. I'm guessing that you go through the same process in the development of the vehicles that you put together. But how hard is it?
Yeah, I don't know if maybe we can take a model to
Sure.
describe that, but I was thinking of the latest release, the fourth Ultimate car, which we have this year, which the Ferrari Daytona SP3.
The famous Ferrari Daytona, yes.
Which is
tell us about that.
Crazy process, crazy model as well to develop, and it's about 2 years. But this is actually the Ultimate series, the biggest model we develop in LEGO Technic, and it's like around close to 4,000 pieces put together. And when you look at the smallest model that we have in the assortment is maybe around 20-30 pieces together put together to create a small little vehicle. But so from this range, we have in between the smallest to the biggest. I think we have around between 16 to 20 ish model in total, and they vary from scale to scale to the biggest one. And talking about the Ferrari Daytona, this is the pinnacle of creativity and creation in LEGO Technic. And so this one is 2 years of development, and normally it would be between few months to 6 months max to develop a model. But because this one is quite complex and specific and highly detailed, and also the process to create that one, because the car doesn't exist yet when you develop it, is also important to start much earlier in the process as well, and to have enough time to really get the loops that you need to refine the model together with the partner, which is Ferrari here in Italy. They ever travel to Denmark to get to see with the development process, or we travel there to present what we are doing. But when we cannot travel, if it's too difficult, or there's a virus that blocks us, that stops us to prevent us to travel, then we do a lot of calls, and we do bi-weekly calls with the partner. And when we in these calls, we have the talks, we present what we are doing, and then we get the feedback from the design team that is highly involved. And all this process takes some time actually to get from the start, making the chassis to the final product. So I'm not sure if you could maybe describe more in detail. I can do that.
It's an incredible vehicle, functioning doors, working shift paddles, a V12 engine with moving cylinders. And
yes.
in fact, you had to design a bunch of new parts as well, correct?
That's correct. Yeah. Let me grab the model so I can.
Yes, for sure.
Remind myself a bit more, but
yeah. Describe the model for us, if you will. This is nearly 2 feet long, and red and rubber. A lot of red and rubber.
It's half a meter long model. So one of the, I think it's a 1:8 scale. replica. It's a representation, of course, of the Ferrari Daytona. It's not a die cast. We only create representation. And I'm going to bring also the open body, which is something like this, where you can see the interior of the car. Because a lot of the building experience is to create all the functions that are packed inside, and they are done in a way that they are really compact and really like packed in there, and you really almost don't see them, unfortunately, after you finish building. But what you can do is to open some of the parts of the car, like the roof that you can remove. You can open the rear compartment, where you can then see the engine. So the V12 engine with the piston that moves when you push the car on the table. The front can open as well, the front hood. But yeah, the car is packed with a lot of functions, and also the doors can open. And it's not like a scissors, it's like, I think it's like butterfly mechanism.
Yes.
If it's correct. And then you have this is actually a very sophisticated build, and the designer Uwe Bauer had I think a lot of headaches to make sure that this car is being approved, and also by LEGO, but also by Ferrari, because we have also quality standard that we need to follow when we create a LEGO model. For it doesn't matter which model, all LEGO model go through that quality assessment, and this is something that we need to be able to have the right stability. For example, in the LEGO Technic model, you don't want to play with the model and it start breaking and falling apart. So all the stability is super important, and the challenge with this car is that the roof is not there. So because the roof is missing, and normally this is what you can use to create a lot of with the A-pillar, you can create a lot of stability and structure around the seats and the cockpit. But in that particular case, we had to find a new alternative, new ways of building, finding a way to make it super stable without that advantage of having the structural roof on top. So one big challenge on this one, and then also the shape. I mean, this car is insane. It's like extremely organic, and it's shapes that you don't really see being used with LEGO, because our elements are a bit more like squared pieces and not so much organic. So it has been also like a need for us to create new parts. We try many variations, many iterations before we decide to create a new part, but at some point you just realize that there's no other way, that we need to create a new element. It also goes for the rims, for example, because a rim we want to create the rim as close and as identical as the real car, but we cannot make it with LEGO pieces, so it won't be stable. So we create a new part for that. We create a new system for the suspension. Then we create new shaping elements. And then this is parts that we create together with the design team here in LEGO, that we make sure that this is not just gonna be used for this particular model. All the parts, all the elements that we create, we want to use them in the rest of the assortment as much as possible, and so we make sure when we design these new parts that they fall into this, we call it the grid. So it matches the LEGO measurements, and they fit together with the rest of the pieces that we have here at LEGO. So you can use this new parts with old and existing parts, but also like from previous generations of LEGO model, you can use them together still. They still all work together, which is quite nice, because with this same elements and a few new parts, you can just create anything you want, basically anything with LEGO.
Is it harder to build a vehicle like that Ferrari than to build a more conventional, smaller LEGO?
Yes, I think because this one is so big that you need much more time also to create copies, to create a new model, to create a new shape. So when you design a model, you don't get with the final shape right away. You need a year and a half, almost 2 years of development of creating the shape, because it takes more time to build. It's also much more complex, and all the functions that we have inside. This one has a 8-speed sequential gearbox with a paddle shifting mechanism. So also that takes a lot of time to develop, to create, to integrate into the model, and to make sure it fits in there, because sometimes you just put all the functions that you want, but they are becoming way too big and takes too much space, and it doesn't work with the shapes of the car. So this is like a lot of rebuild, a lot of rework, and finding new ways of building. And yeah, it takes a lot of time. So if you compare to a smaller vehicle like For example, the Ford Mustang we have here. This is, I think, 2-3 months maybe development time, and we have something that we really liked. And 2 years ago, we launched a new series of the Monster Truck, Monster Jam series, the putbacks, and this is probably 2 months development time. Yeah, this one is going down to 2 years at least.
Wow, incredible.
A lot of people involved for either the functions, the testing, the mechanics, the packaging, and then creating a new experience and new packaging as well.
You're creating a car. I mean, you are literally creating as an automaker would do. You are creating something that is a living, breathing mechanism.
It's very similar process. Yeah, I think so. And also having the step, when we create the step, we try to create them almost the same process as they will do in the factory when they assemble the real car. We talk to the design team and we try to make sure that they can share this information with us also quite early in the process. So whenever we can, we try to recreate that. We are doing that also already with I think with the Porsche GT3 RS that we launched a few years ago. And then we feel like this is so cool. If we can do that, we should continue doing that. And we did that also on the Bugatti with the marriage process, when the front and the rear is separated in 2 parts, and then you assemble both front and rear. And they do exactly the same in the atelier, in the factory in Molsheim in France, when they put the Bugatti Chiron together. Same with the Lamborghini Sian that we launched 2 years ago, and now this one, the Ferrari, we tried the same process to create identical process in a way, as close as possible to what they do in the factory in Ferrari. And also with behind me, you can see the BMW 1/5 scale motorcycle. It's also the same, and we even made a stand that they have also that in the assembly line. They have a specific stand for the bikes, and they put the chassis and the structure on that, and then it moves in the factory and then in the assembly line. So the designer wanted to create the same experience, creating that stand. First, you have to build that, and then you start building your bike on that stand, like if you were in the factory line, assembly line, which is quite cool. Yeah,
Incredible.
It puts you in the skin of these people that assembling and designing the car.
And you're given a lot of advanced information on these vehicles. They sort of peel back the covers for you, right? And they give you the opportunity to see the inner workings of these vehicles that nobody else gets a chance to see.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. I mean, the process of building is also teaching you how things works in the mechanics of the car, and then at the end you can always look around and check the functions. But we try to make some places in the model. If you lift, I'm lifting the car and I'm looking at the lower part under the chassis, and there's a big opening that we try to do and to keep when we design the car, is to keep all the gears visible. And so that means when you finish building, it's of course it's all hidden by the styling and the shell around the car. But then you still have some ways you can dive into back again into the functions that you have been spending a lot of time building, and you can just look at them again and show them to your friends or family and show them how it works by just spinning some wheels, and then it will engage, and you can see the gearings and the gearbox mechanism. And then you can always open the rear cover and then have a look at the V12 engine with the piston that are moving. If I look in the interior, in the cockpit, we have the steering wheel, and behind the steering wheel, I can just do some clicking. It's like a paddle shifter mechanism.
Incredible.
So you can hear that noise is the shifting of the gearing, like this, and then you then change from the 1st to the 8th gear, and depending on the gear in which gear you are, then it will move at different speeds. The piston will move at different speeds, and then you have the gear shifter and the central console, which you can decide if you want to go in drive mode, neutral, or reverse. And if you shift to reverse, there's only one speed reverse that spins the engine, and then you have the drive. You push that to the front. It's a small shift in the center mechanism. Sorry, that's
will LEGO send
sophisticated functions? Yes.
Will LEGO send somebody to my house to help me assemble that vehicle? Because there is no way in the world that I think I'd be able to put that together.
Oh, you can. I'm pretty sure there's there's a really nice book with instructions that you can follow. And there's a lot of easy steps, but it takes a lot of time. Yeah, maybe if you're not used to building LEGO Technic, it probably is going to take you 25 hours to 30 hours roughly to assemble the Ferrari Daytona, at least. Yeah. If you're trained builder, or if you're a LEGO Technic fan, I think they can do it between 6 to 8 hours, I think I would say.
My goodness.
Quite crazy, yeah.
Hopefully you're enjoying Cars and Culture with Jason Stein. Like and subscribe to see more and enjoy the rest of this interview.
What's your favorite part of designing the Ferrari?
Yeah, I was not the one who designed the car specifically. It was another designer. So
we're overseeing the design. Yeah,
overseeing the design. Yes. Well, I think it's the collaboration as well with the partner, and being able to see something exclusive and something that is not yet revealed in the real world. It's always exciting. You think that they won't share anything, and then we discuss what we can do, and then they're like, oh, we have a new car coming in 2022. Like, okay, what is it? And then it's like, yeah, let's share some files, let's share some stuff, and then we're like, okay, I think we can try it and do that, and then we either travel there and see it in real as someone, and it's just like also being able to travel and see different industry at the same time as, you know, starting as a toy designer area at LEGO, and you get to meet all these people outside in different car industry, and from Ferrari, or it could be McLaren, it could be Ford, Jeep, Monster Jam, and Bugatti. There's also some new things coming that has been announced first half year next year. There will be the Bugatti Bolide and new Monster Jam trucks coming up as well. That actually has been just revealed 1st of December, and they will be launching in January next year. It has also been amazing to meet all these partners. So I think this is I think overseeing the design, but also being able to meet all this new and creating new bigger network as well around not just being a toy designer, but being connected to
you're a car designer. There's no question. And why do you think people love Legos so much? And in particular, why do they love this Ultimate series? You know, the Lamborghinis and the Porsche 911s and the Bugatti Chirons.
I think it's the magic of and the power of creativity. It's like you can build whatever you want with Lego. So yeah, I mean, with the same parts, same elements, every year we can create anything new, and I think it's also like learning through play. And I think when I dive more into the LEGO Technic franchise, it's really true to that, and it's very important to us that and we will teach something to the kids and people. I think they are loving that, and the one who will maybe dive more into the LEGO Technic franchise, it's more like they want to learn why it works. They are passionate about taking things apart and seeing how it's inside, and yeah, I think that's you're summarizing a bit that, but yeah.
You're creating automotive engineers of the future, aren't you?
In a way, we are. I think yes. It's we are teaching them. We're teaching the kids, the adults who are getting into that. But the new generation, they're definitely learning a lot with the LEGO Technic product, and they're probably going to be the next car designers or engineers that we'll see in a few years from now.
Yeah, for sure. Did you get? I want to ask specifically about some of these models. Do you get a chance to drive around in some of the vehicles that you're designing? Let's say the Lamborghinis, to help you figure out how to turn it into a Lego, or you know, go to the assembly line and things of that nature. Really hold the parts in your hands.
Oh yeah, we try as much as we can to get this ride in the cars, but not always. Yeah, no, but at least we are often invited to go there, to go to the studio and to see the new thing coming up, the new cars, and then the one that we're going to recreate in a LEGO Technic format. We get the chance to see that, but usually the car is not finished yet, so we don't get to take it to the streets and to drive it, or it's not revealed, so it's not outside and visible for the public, so we cannot really do that. But sometimes when actually when I was working on the Bugatti Chiron, we got a unique opportunity when we were there to actually get a drive into the Bugatti Chiron, but not always. It's just like yeah, that would be awesome, but
Yeah.
not always like this. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
for
just
sure.
it's a unique experience, that's for sure. Like when you get to see these cars, but also when they let you like in the car and then okay, let's go for a spin, and then there's a professional drivers usually coming with you, and it will take you on inside a closed circuit closed track where you can do different spin and different round and go a bit nuts with the car. But yeah.
Yeah, wonderful. Do you see Lego continuing its process of creating these more full-size cars like the Ferrari? And where could the pathway go for Lego as it relates to the development of some new models?
Yeah, I think we have a lot of car enthusiasts. There's a lot of people who are passionate by cars, and kids also are getting a lot into that. And for sure, there's a real passion, real trend growing around the car world, and then what's coming up and what's new. And we have a lot of and car enthusiasts who wants what's new, the new car, and more vehicles. So I don't think we'll stop here. And there's a lot we can do, and there's always some new cars, and also with the EV world that's coming up now, all electric vehicles. There's also a whole new world for us to explore, and definitely a lot of adults and kids as well being super enthusiastic about that. So there's some cool, exciting new product coming for next year, that's for sure, and then in the years to come.
Let's talk about that EV transition, because of course it's top of mind in everything that we talk about in the automotive world these days. How do you think EVs will change Lego's approach to creating the vehicles that you've done? Are there more opportunities? Are there different opportunities?
That's a good question, because we are right into that right now in the Technic design team. It's also how we're going to recreate the functions, how we translate that into a Lego format. So we are right at the heart of that now, and it's something that we try to not just only do that, of course, but there's already some vehicles that we have launched, like the Porsche electric Porsche Formula E, and there's some more to come. Let's say it like that. I cannot share much on what's coming, but
Sure.
It's still secret. But there's going to be some things there. Yeah, but it's definitely a question we ask ourselves a few years back, and it's right now into us. We're looking into that as well, and how we can communicate that, and what are the new elements we have to create to represent the electric functions and all that around. And there's some exciting news coming, but I cannot share much on that.
For later, right? Exactly.
Yes.
But there's a whole new generation of car lovers that are coming because of the movement into electric vehicles. I've got to think that even for Lego, there's a broadening of your consumer base that could probably come along as well.
I think so, but I'm not the expert in that. I think this is more like a marketing area of expertise, and
I mean, there'll be cool cars. There'll be cool cars out there. There already are cool cars out there. You know, Lucid, Teslas. Sure. Yeah.
But there's a lot of cool EV cars coming up, and also in the pipeline for years to come. So there's going to be some exciting things for us to do, that's for sure. And let's see, probably it will recruit even more kids or adults into the Technic franchise.
Yeah, for sure. You're a chef. You like to cook, don't you? That's your personal passion. When you step away from the Legos, you actually spend time putting different ingredients together in the kitchen, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a chef yet, but close to. Yes, I love cooking. I have a strong passion for cooking, and this is something that also inspires me. I like to be in the kitchen and do whatever new recipe and create something new. It's a bit like when you create a new Lego model. You try with the same pieces that you have. You try something and you make something new. And I am also in the zone when I'm in the kitchen. I would just start something with no recipe, or find what's new as a new recipe that I could maybe try to get inspired from, and just create some good food and share with families and friends, and that's it's always good. To get together.
It's ingredients that you're putting together, right? And just the same way that you're putting ingredients together in LEGO Technic, now you're putting ingredients together in the kitchen. Yeah,
I do. Yes, I think it's something like I got from my family. I guess they are like a lot into cooking, and I got inspired very young into making a lot of dishes, and I always love that because then you invite friends and you make a lot of food. They all love it. They all get together, and then the social part of that, and being around the table with a lot of a good atmosphere, and good food.
You live in Denmark, which is very progressive as it relates to mobility and sustainability. What do you see around you in the mobility space and transportation that inspires you at LEGO?
I think the nature, it's quite amazing in Denmark. The focus they have on keeping the country and everything around the nature protected, and also in cities, you see they try to have less cars, and everybody will take the bicycle first, or try to be in transportation like buses or trains or metros, and really you see like there's a strong desire of protecting the world and making sure that it's all sustainable as much as we can do, and this is very inspiring, and I think you lean to that as well, to that mood, and then you put yourself also into becoming like that as well. Like maybe I should not take the car today. I should just take my bike, and then I'll just walk. I don't need to spend the gasoline or whatever, and of course also a lot of conversion to EV vehicles as well, and it's getting quite popular now, definitely. So, big transition there. Yeah.
Let's get back to Legos. What do you want somebody to experience when building his or her Lego set? What's the experience that they should take out of it?
I think, you want them to learn something new and to have a good time as well. I think the building experience should not be frustrating. So you need to make sure that you do the right step, you use the right element in the right color. And this is why you can sometimes see inside the model that there will be like a rainbow of colors inside the gearbox or the mechanics that is quite hidden at the end. So it doesn't matter that it's a lot of colors, but this helps a lot the kids or the adult to make something that to follow the steps in the easiest way as possible and avoid mistakes. It will be just knowing that you spend a lot of hours, 20 to 30 hours building a model, and nothing works at the end. So we have a lot of focus in making sure that we deliver the best possible building experience, but also the play experiences. After when you finish building, you want to experience all the functions that you've spent a lot of time putting together. So learning something as well in that sense. And I think that's the main objective, I would say.
Do you see yourself advancing the passion around cars? Are you at the epicenter of building a culture and building a passion around the automobile?
Yeah, I think we are. We have a lot of exciting new cars coming next year, and we keep pushing for those. There's a real passion around cars, and you can see that from kids to adults, it's real. There's a real a lot of enthusiastic people, and they want to see what's new, what's coming next, and we want also to deliver the novelty product and something that has not been seen before. We're bringing, we have example we have the new Ferrari Daytona, of course, and then the Bugatti bolide that's coming in January. There is this year the Ford Mustang. There was the Jeep, the McLaren Formula One. That has been quite strong as well. Big passion on Formula One.
Oh yeah. We've had Zach Brown on this program, the McLaren.
Oh wow, nice.
Yes.
You mentioned something about that. Oh, did he mention something about the Lego version? Or
He did not mention the Lego version, but we'll be sure to ask him next time for sure.
no, nice. Yeah. Or maybe it was not released yet. I don't know. Yeah.
I don't think it was. What was that hard to do? Was that hard to create a Formula One car?
Not more than anything else in the LEGO Technic team, I think. But it was a great challenge and a great experience. That's for sure. Like Formula One is one we have. I think there's few in the team who has a big passion for Formula One, including me, and seeing that we can bring that to life was amazing, and getting in touch with the McLaren team as well, getting to see what's going to be done. Also, it was the year when they shifted the design of the car. If you remember, it was I think it was last year. And this is going from the old design to the newest shapes, and it was also like difficult for them to know what's going to be and to know and to share things with us. But it was so exciting because you could see what's coming next, and then also as for us to recreate that in a Technic format, and to be very close together with the McLaren design team, the racing team there in McLaren, getting that to life was quite spectacular, and being able to maybe one day see that see the car, and being able to travel there and to see the car in real as well, in the boulevard, and in McLaren offices in UK, in London. But I think we have not as complex model as the Ferrari Daytona, but still packed with a lot of cool functions, and also like a nice challenge for the shapes.
You're sitting at your desk in Denmark, and I know you have other items that are on the desk in front of you. What else are you most proud of that you can share with the audience?
Of course, I should talk about the Bugatti Chiron that I
Yes,
was
let's
part
talk
of
about the
developing,
Bugatti.
but it's not the newest. It's been here for a few years, but we have together with the same team. Then I was involved with is to develop what's coming in January 2023, and it's something that I just took from the table. It's in my hand. Is the Bugatti bolide, and it's just been revealed now. I think it was today. It has been revealed online, and it's going to launch in January. We have a replica of the Bugatti bolide with the 16-cylinder inside packed on the back of the car, and it's a smaller scale than the Bugatti Chiron that we have launched. It's more like the McLaren's Senna that we did a few years ago, or the Ford Mustang. So it's really like come together with the passion for car, because you start to have this idea of, I'm going to collect these cars, and this is like a McLaren Senna in my hand now, and they have the same scale. So we try to, when we create in this size, I think it's around $50. It's about the same scale, so we keep the same size of the wheels, and then we just shape the new car around the chassis. And then we also have the Mustang, and there's the Jeep Wrangler that was also made a year or two ago, but now the new one, the one that is actually a bit more crazy in shape. It's very sophisticated and very organic shapes, and a lot of challenges on this one. So I think this is probably the one that I like the most, and to see that car being made and also being approved by the partner, and to work together again with Bugatti. Also, that was quite cool to see the team again, and on a different project. But yeah, you have a steering. You can open the doors like this sideways, and then you have a little bit on the back. You can lift some of the two panels just to see a bit more details of the V16 cylinder that actually were a big challenge to pack in this smaller scale. It was already quite challenging for me to put that in the 1:8 scale, but in this one, oh man, that was a lot of tries and error, and also capturing all the details and all the cool shape of the car, the streamline, the X kind of X-wing rear light on the back of the car. And also we have a lot of new parts that we are developing for this one. And you can see actually on this one some prototypes still, and some decorated parts for the wheel arches in the front. recreate some of the details that we couldn't make with the physical pieces. And there's a lot of cool details around the wheels, but also the interior, the dashboard. There's small stickers on the dashboard where you see a racetrack, which is the one that is in France, and I think it was the first time they revealed the car, or they at least showed it, was driving on that racetrack, and I think it's the Castellet in south of France. It's a race that is also used in for Formula One. But yeah, a lot of cool details and cool partnerships with Bugatti, and they actually also with CSR, the game that you can play on phones, on smartphones. So the car will be also in the game as well.
Wonderful.
You can play with Lego version of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me ask you just
smaller car, but really cool project.
Yeah. No, that's very, very cool. Let me ask you just a couple of final things. What is your personal aim as a designer?
Yeah, I think so. My aim in design is to make things better, to always improve what's already existing, and to make sure that it can get better, get better experience, a better user experience, and I like to also dive into any kind of product. If something is broken, to fix it, and to always try to not just trash something that could be fixed, and try to reuse and make it more sustainable also. So trying to also doing that with my personal life, and then daily job, if I can do that with the Lego product as well.
Well, there are many kids out there who put Legos together and who love toys. What would you tell anybody who has an ambition to be a Lego designer one day?
To be a Lego designer, I would say be as creative as possible. Try to build as many models as you can. I think a lot of creativity, and never give up. Just keep pushing yourself and boundaries, and making sure that you always stay tuned to what's coming next as well in the trends and in the car industry, and especially if you want to join the LEGO Technic team. But I think be creative, and we'll see you soon maybe.
Yeah, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you for taking us on this journey with Lego, and congratulations on some of your latest launches.
Thank you, Jason, and thanks for taking the time with me today. And really nice meeting you. And
wonderful. Thank you.
Hopefully you enjoyed this interview on Cars and Culture with Jason Stein. Like and subscribe. Come back and see more interviews with actors, athletes, musicians, business leaders. It's all right here on Cars and Culture.